Cześć, z tej strony IndieK i witam was na kolejnej grze niezależnej, którą jest Serena.
Sometimes, when I make a great effort, I can remember her scent, the sweetness of her breath. Serena.
Dobra, może trochę o grze. Znalazła się jakiś czas temu na Steamie za darmo i tak jak mi się na początku wydawało po screenach, widzę, że klimat jest podobny jak w Dear Esther.
Serena? Why can't I see you more clearly? Why can't I even remember?
Jakże spodziewam się jakiejś ciekawej historii opowiedzianej w tej grze. No ale nie będziemy przechodzić przez całość, jedynie przez początek, aby troszkę się w niej rozeznać.
Come, love, with peace in your heart, said Niobe of the ice blue eyes. Blue eyes. It's based on an Irish folktale. Warrior poet O'Sheen goes to Tirnanog, a Celtic otherworld known as the Land of Youth and Promise. Niobe is of the Fey folk, the fair ones, fairies, weird mix of doggerel and artistry. The elemental imagery is evocative, but the language and structure are... I've always been drawn to things that are kind of both good and bad at the same time. My grandma introduced me to these old legends when I was just a kid, in between stories of what she could still remember of her child. Weird mix of doggerel and artistry. The elemental imagery is evocative, but the language and structure are a bit quaint. I've always been drawn to things that are kind of both good and bad at the same time. Maybe because my grandma introduced me to these old legends when I was just a kid, in between stories of what she could still remember of her childhood. A weird mix of doggerel and artistry. The elemental imagery, I've always been drawn to things that are kind of both good and bad at the same time. Maybe because something draws me to this trunk. Is it the memories locked within? Or we use this trunk to store trinkets and papers. It's too painful. I want to, but we found this trunk at a flea market. We used to love rummaging. Big enough for a lifetime of... But we hated guns, so we never had any, even out here. But this would have been a good place to keep one. We found this trunk at a flea market. We used to love rummaging around those in our early years. No, I don't want to leave right now. There's still something for me. I better stay in case Serena comes back. There's always a chance she might return.
Dobra, czyli czuję, że nie wyjdziemy stąd w ogóle.
She made this with her own hands. She was really good.
Look what I made, hun, in case we ever need to sweep something under the carpet. See the pattern of yellow squares? It's from this rug I remembered from my nursery. I must have been like 3 or 4, but it always stuck with me.
No trap door under there, just more creaky... I always resisted the temptation to sweep things under there when it was...
The rug's all crooked again. Can you help me straighten it out?
No trap door under there, just more creaky floor. It's a beautiful day, though there's an unnatural calm surrounding the area.
Taki piękny dzień,
I've
a ty nie
always
chcesz
loved
wyjść.
the hazy afternoon shades of this place. The clock is a trophy from our flea market adventures. Chalk this particular purchase up. The ticking begins to feel homey after a while. The first night was a nightmare. Time never mattered much to us while we were hiding from the rest of the world here. The clock has always been rather autonomous, no matter how many times... Actually, I think it might have gone out of sync. No trusting this clock. I wonder what time it is. The clock has always been rather autonomous. No matter how many times we've wound it up, it keeps going out of sync. She was special. Contradictory. She didn't mind these. Actually, I think she was into them too.
That looks interesting. You can always try it.
I read it for the articles, of course. Like that one by the guy. That one about the... I needed some incentive to go check the mailbox from time to time. It's some way something good left in this world. They still make covers like this. She's beautiful, but what's her obsession with dolphins? I needed some incentive to go check the mailbox from time to time. It's some way through the woods. Something good left in this world. They still make covers like this. Erotic. Our refuge from the world. A place of warmth and passion. Sometimes we joked we needed to be so far out in the woods because that's how our sex life was. Far out. The furniture came with the cabin, but the bedclothes we brought with us. A place like this needs some luxury, but without her...
No.
There's a strand of blonde hair in the comb. Yes, blonde hair like, what's wrong with my memory? She also had a brush, but I can't see it anywhere. Nor, it's just a regular comb bought from a supermarket. She also had a brush. I used it too. There's only an outhouse, and for some reason, whoever erected the rickety thing didn't think to include wall-to-wall mirrors. So, this came in handy. Should I dust for fingerprints? I might if I were in a detective. After all these years, the last thing I need now is to see myself in the mirror. There's dust on this, too. After all these years, the last thing I need now is to see myself in the mirror. I must look awful. They prevent my blood pressure from skyrocketing. Doctor's orders. I'm generally not fond of taking medication. I find it hard to believe ingesting a few chemicals.
Don't forget your pill, hun. I know you'd rather not, but you know it's for the best.
Beta blockers. I have high blood pressure. I'm only supposed to take these before meals. Not a big fan of them. They do beta blockers. I have high blood pressure.
Dobra. Zasypamy to. Z drugiej strony.
These keys are for the cabin and the car. If the keys are here, does she have her spare? I should probably stay here in case she doesn't. We also have a key for the outhouse, but can't be bothered to keep it anywhere other than under that rock next to the thing. No one comes here anyway.
Dobra. Te następne szuflady trzeba szukać. Kasa. Nie możemy wziąć. To zegarek też nie. Nic tu nie możemy zrobić. No, nie można. Dobra. To było. Teraz tu. Ołóweczki, nic.
Dearest, how do I say any of this? I like your way with words, but if I don't write this, I don't know what I'll do. My life feels so unreal now, dreamlike, but wonderfully so. Let me try, even if clumsily. The hours I spent with you when we last met are precious to me. I was so lost such a short time ago. Everything seemed drained of color and feeling. I think we were meant to find each other, to bring meaning to our lives again, make sense of the confusion shrouding both of us. When we stepped into the crystal silence of the snowy woods, away from the chatter of the guests, all nature seemed expectant, as if holding its breath, witnessing a rare moment of something infinitely better than what life in the ordinary run of things has to offer. Do you remember how the light crust of the snow glittered in the reflected light of the country house? How the copse of trees in which we walked was haloed with a magical aura? I felt the chill of the night air, and you opened your coat and enfolded me in your arms, and we hugged tight, sharing the warmth, sharing the only thing any of us have to share on this earth when you think about it. And then you toppled us on the snow, you devil. We laughed and rolled around, my head already spinning from the wine and crisp, pure night air and the stillness all around. We lay back and I gasped when I realized what I was seeing. The luminous starscape, like a vast velvet cloth sprinkled with powdered sugar, like it can only be seen in the countryside. I had tears in my eyes when I turned to you and we kissed, and it felt like the only moment in all of time, or outside time, and ours was the only spark that could ignite the universe. You gave me these moments. You complete me in ways I never knew to dream of. Let me be the one who makes sense of the confusion whenever you feel lost again. We can make our own world against the rest of the world if need be. Together we can silence all the demons, heal all the wounds. I love you. In eternity yours, Serena.
It's been so long since I said her name out loud. I think that's the moment I fell in love with her, when she told me the soothing sound of her name.
Dearest.
Dobra. Nic nie ma. Ciuszki, ciuszki, ciuszki. Dobra.
So glad to meet you. My name is Serena.
Pretty shambolic, isn't it? The organization of its contents isn't much better. It's just a regular comb bought from a supermarket, new enough to still have all its teeth.
Nic nowego.
It's deep into summer, so there's a few hours left until it gets dark. The sunlight is so bright here. In other circumstances, this would have been the perfect afternoon for us.
Pójdziemy sobie tutaj.
She is fairly religious. Not me. I'm the cold and cynical bastard. But she always thought our relationship was a blessing. God, how I miss her. No longer the cynical asshole. Her faith came as a surprise to me. She was never prudish about sex, so I just didn't expect it. I guess people simply aren't that predictable. No, I don't want to read right now. Especially not a Bible. I have no need for the words, and I don't feel like being admonished by a deity. No, I don't want to read right now. She adored all things of nature. I remember her long walks out in the woods. Curiously, we never brought many plants inside the cabin. We were surrounded by so many. Maybe I should have let her bring some plants inside. She liked them a lot. A plant is a plant. Beautiful to some. They say these things are alive. If they are, it must be we have much more interesting things than this plant inside the cabin. Like my books. Quite a large armoire for our admittedly... We all have our skeletons in the closet, but not Serena. I'm not sure why, but I don't feel like opening it. The sole thought of it drains what little energy I have left in me.
Tutaj też same szmaty i tutaj też sweterki. Dobra. Także już nam zleciało paręnaście minut, a obstawiając, że ta gra będzie trwała tyle co Dear Esther, to może lepiej i więcej już tutaj nie odkrywać. A jeśli będziecie mieli ochotę, to sami zajrzycie i zobaczymy, co tutaj skrywa ta historia. W takim razie do usłyszenia następnym razem. Cześć.